And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have my good friend Tamika back here with me again. We're going to be talking about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, or The Fall of a Legend. We'll decide at the end of this episode. So let's go on ahead. Let's review Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. And hey, Tamika, how are you?
Hey, what's up? What you called
Nothing
it?
much.
Did you say fall of what?
Fall of a Legend, or
Stop it.
well, it was actually good up until you get like to the last movie, pretty much.
Yeah, well, everybody has their issues.
Yes, they do. And we thought we would actually get them resolved in part 3, but here we are.
No.
But
Hey. Somebody said hey to us.
Hey Jojo, how are you doing? It's good to see you. By the way, I just want to mention this. We are dedicating all our Superman reviews to Ben. If you don't know who Ben is, he did a Seinfeld episode with me. He also did the Back to the Future episode with me and Tamika. That's only on YouTube for the Back to the Future episode. But you can also check out the Seinfeld episode that Ben and I did on the audio podcast and also on the video podcast as well. So I just want to mention that. So now I'm going to ask you this, Tamika. Where do you hold this nostalgically?
I can't vote because this is the first time I've seen it.
Okay, so you're an NA.
NA.
Okay, so not actable. For me, I have to say this. This was the movie that I kept on renting at the video store over and over again, to the point where the person who works at the video store had to tell my parents that they'll just give me the movie. Like, for real, this was actually the movie that the video employee just like, you know what? We're good. No one's going to be asking for this movie. Your son's the only one probably rents it probably. So we're just going to give it to him.
What, did you like it that much?
Yeah, I liked it that much as a kid. So if I had to go with this nostalgically as a kid, as a 5 or 6 year old me, I would give this a 10 because of how many times I made my parents rent this.
Oh, okay.
And it's not a perfect movie, I get that, but 5 or 6 year old me does not know better, has not seen better movies at all until like later on in future me. So yeah.
Okay, John.
Because this movie is definitely not a 10, but 10-year-old me is definitely saying, or 6-year-old me is saying, this is a 10.
Yeah. It was awesome.
So with that being said, let's go on ahead. We're now going to strip away the nostalgia from me, because that's not even a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're going to get into it.
Okay.
So, faster than a collapsing budget, more powerful than a plot hole, able to stop nuclear war with a toss of a wrist. Welcome to Movie Lovers Unite. I'm your host, John, and today, oh boy, we are flying straight into the cinematic black hole that is Superman, The Quest for Peace.
AKA the quest for logic, the quest for funding, and the quest for why did they make this and John make me do this.
I do not recall that recollection. Anyways, this movie has it all, folks. A radioactive supervillain with a glam rock vibes. Lex Luthor is back at it again with his teenage nephew from Craigslist. And Superman and moonwalking on the actual moon.
Let's not forget, John, the scene where he gives a motivational TED talk at the UN, then yeets every nuclear missile into the sun like he's playing nuclear dodgeball.
If you ever wondered what it's like to watch Superman battle world peace using deleted scenes and rubber stunt doubles, this is a cinematic masterpiece you never asked for.
So grab your cakes and your popcorn and maybe a Geiger counter. Yep. I messed that line up, but because it's time to dive into the most unintentional, hilarious Superman movie ever made, besides Superman 3.
True. Truth, justice, and the American, we ran out of money halfway through the filming. Just like how we ran out of the budget through this whole entire script that I made. So,
Yeet.
yeet,
Yeet.
yeet. So, like we had in the previous films, the film begins as the previous three films have ended, with the sun rising over Earth's atmosphere. A Russian space station is endangered when a collision with debris sends a commun, cosmonaut astronaut hurtling off into deep space. He is promptly rescued by Superman, who brings him inside and influent Russian bids him farewell. Down on Earth, Clark Kent has returned to Smallville. Clark visits the Kent farm and inherited from his adopted parents. In the cellar of the barn, he finds the starship that brought him from Kryptonian to Earth, along with a powerful crystal sent by his biological mother, Laura of Krypton. So we have a lot going on here. We have the Russian rescue that happens at the beginning of this movie. And what did you think of the Russian rescue for this?
I wrote in my notes. I thought it was refreshing to see him rescuing someone in space, because you always see him on Earth in the elements there, saving everyday people. But to save, I know they were astronauts, but to save somebody in space, it just seems, you just see how versatile and great his responsibility is, like on Earth and in space.
That's true, because normally we always see him like saving cats out of a tree, or we see him in America basically just saving everybody. Well, he did. But this is like something that we haven't seen before, where he's actually in space and he's saving people in space. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And, after that, he tells the Russians goodbye, but at the same time, they don't even know who he is. I was thinking to myself, I thought they would know who he is, considering, how everybody on Earth actually talks about him. Even, I would even say, I don't think just Americans know about him. He did a lot of stuff in part 3 to actually know who he is.
Yeah. Or how long had they been in space?
Come on, you have to know that they work for the government, and there's this guy who's saving the world down there. He didn't just drink vodka and got drunk and went up into space.
They're like, who is that guy?
Right. But yeah, it is kind of refreshing to see that. And the last time we actually seen anyone that was in space was actually the cover band from Queen. The three people, Zod. We saw Zod.
It's stupid. Cover band for Queen. They wish.
But yeah, we got to see them. Those were like the last villains that was actually in space. But now we actually get to see Superman save some people in space, which is definitely refreshing, something different. This is what it would be like if Superman was just a movie in space versus it being on Earth, which is a different take than what we normally get from a Superman. So that is one aspect I do have to say that I do appreciate with the film, is showing us something different. And then he goes back to Earth, and then he winds up going to the farmhouse again, and back to Smallville. And we see this old man that wants to buy the property. But before that, Clark's down over there looking at the crystal again. He's over there looking at the crap that carried him as a baby. So it's a lot of reminiscing as to who he was and who he is now. So this is basically Smallville season finale for Superman 4. You think about it.
Wow. Yep. And did you see Smallville when it was on TV?
I saw pieces of it. I just didn't like the acting in it. I thought it was like way over the top at the time. But it is what it is.
Okay, we move on.
But I definitely like the whole entire aspect of like his mother talking to him again, and then you have this old man that just shows up out of the blue wanting to buy his farm. And at first I'm like, well, we already went through this before already with his mother talking to him. I'm like, look, we get it. He came from Krypton as a baby. You know, you talked about it in the first two films, but I guess now we're gonna have to talk about it again here on part 4. We get it, okay? He's a Kryptonian baby, and he came down on Earth, but they added something different to it by saying this, like, if once you wind up drinking this green stuff, that's going to be the end of the end all be all thing of you being able to have your powers.
John has no heart. This man missed his home planet and he on Earth, so he just probably rewind and play, rewind, play, because he has to hear his parents' voice one more time. John.
They didn't even get the same actress. It was like all of a sudden it was like his grandfather talking.
He's rewinding and playing it, John. Rewind and play.
But Tamika, it's like an old dude. It's like an old dude that is on that one part. It's like all of a sudden he decided to be his father was like a grandfather.
But which one are you talking about?
I'm talking about this one. This one you actually see a little bit of a hologram of the father talking to him, and he looks like his grandfather. It doesn't even look like his father.
You know, the consciousness ages over time. Yeah, I like that scene. It was very sad to me. It was like it's like a crystal or something. It's like, this is your last piece of home, and this is what you use in an emergency situation. And once you use it, you won't be able to hear from us anymore. And that was really sad. You know, I don't know.
To me, the saddest part.
Sorry.
For me, the saddest part was you have this scumbag guy that wants to buy his family's farm. He goes, "Well, Clark, I would like to buy your farm from you." And I like how Clark basically breaks him down and goes, "Why? So you can make parking lots out of my farm and everything."
Mm-hmm.
And also, too, he played. This is the one part I don't understand. You're playing baseball, playing catch with this guy who's not even a father-like figure to you, or anything. So why are you playing catch with this crummy guy? And then just to tell him that he doesn't want to sell the property over to him.
Maybe thought he could like win him over by like playing baseball or something.
But then he insults Clark too. He goes, "Well, Clark, you were never good at playing baseball. You never could hit a bright side of the barn." I'm like, well, way to go to make a sale, dude. You're definitely a shithead.
It was really sad. It's like gentrification, right?
Right.
They're coming on his property, and if you look at the farm across from it, already has for sale lease sign on it. So he's buying out these people's farm, and this last piece of Americana in this part of the country. And they just want to turn it into, like I said, a parking lot or do some double
or a mall.
Yeah, a mall. I mean, anybody can relate to that who's been in like small towns and developers come in and want to buy you out, and just, all the nostalgia and the memories in your home are just gone into a mall.
Right. But not only that, but there's an emptiness feeling though with Clark though too, I feel, because I want to know what happened to Ma Kent. Is like, okay, in the first one we get introduced to her, and then he goes back into the second and the third. I want to say it was.
Was she in the second? She was in the second.
She was in the third one.
She was in the third one?
No. She wasn't even in the third one. Get introduced to her in the first movie, and then he goes back for the high school reunion in the third movie, and it's like, okay, you don't want to see your mom? Like, where? You know what I mean? Because I would love to actually see that human aspect of Clark visiting his mom. Yeah. And this one is like, well, both of my parents died. Well, what happened to his mother? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a plot hole, but I guess maybe he saw his mom before he went to the reunion.
They should have showed it.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. They could at least had
Lois. I want to hear and be invested.
Like, yeah, because could have had at least Lois at work, like Clark, sorry to hear about your mom. Yeah, she's in a better place or something like that, to help us.
Right. But you don't even have a mention of his mother or anything like that, just for the first movie. And
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, what happened to the checks that he was sending and stuff? Because remember in the first movie, he actually sends his checks to his mom.
Oh,
So,
got the checks.
so that's what I want to know. Is he still sending checks
Right.
or what? Like, what's going on with this? Because that is a gigantic plot hole to me that wants some continuity within the franchise, even though we separated that with part 3 with Richard Pryor and stuff. But we don't even have any kind of continuity at all with the first 2 films.
True.
But but that's just like that's a nitpick for me for that. And then you also have this other part too where he's like where the guy wants to buy the farm. He goes, oh, farms are going to be extinct, no one's going to be using farms anymore. They're going to be outdated, son. I'm just going to tell you right now. No one's going to be using it. Then you see the crib that Clark was in. Jonathan Kent is such a kidder. He said that my son put a hole in the crib. He's such a kidder. That's not gonna make it.
Yeah, that crib looked like a Jurassic Park raptor clawed through it or something.
I would break it too.
He having a nightmare? Dang, what's he doing? Gee, did he turn into a monster or a dinosaur? Goodness.
But yeah, then we actually have a scene after the guy drives off where Clark winds up hitting the baseball and it goes up into space.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I commend Clark because it takes a lot of restraint not to show your powers. And then people are like, you're a wuss. You suck at baseball. You don't even know how to hit a ball. Like, you have to constantly pretend like you don't know how to hit things or do certain things that you can do 10 times more than a human can in order to just blend in. And I think that probably came from his adoptive dad, his Earth dad. Just,
Right.
This is how you blend into Earth, son. And you have to conceal your powers and all that other stuff. So he's still carrying that on, even with his dad dying or dead.
Right. I definitely understand that. Then we have, Superman and Clark learns that the United States and Soviet Union may seem engaged in nuclear war, threatening the survival of the planet. In elementary school, this becomes a current event discussion. One student, Jeremy, decides on writing us to Superman for help. Superman retires from the Fortress of Solitude, where he reflects on the situation and where he sees the spirits of numerous decayed Kryptonians. Okay, that's what I forgot. Okay. I actually wrote that other part out before that. Remember I said about the father and everything? That was actually before this part. So then I had to go back and rebuttal what I said.
We forgot to talk about Lex.
Okay. He actually comes in a little bit later, though, I think.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he comes in a little later because this is everything that's setting up the tone for the movie because we're facing the Soviet Union and then Lex comes in later on.
Okay.
So we're actually getting the plot point of this, but it seems like this is actually the main plot point and Lex is just the B storyline, which is kind of unusual to me.
Yes. Yeah. That is true. Was a bad character.
But yeah, they recommend that Kal-El stay on Earth's wars and if need be, relocate to another part of the universe, saying that there are more advanced planets out there where war is long forgotten. Superman states he will stay out of the Cold War conflict. And then that's when, of course, the Daily Planet has gone bust. Because now we actually have 2 Perry Whites, it seems like, in this. You know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about the investor?
Yeah, the investor. It seems like we have Perry White 1.0, and now we have this other guy who's trying to be Perry White 2.0, who's
No,
trying to run the newspaper.
he's corporate, John. He's corporate, and then there's Perry White.
Okay, he's still Perry 2.0, where
Yes,
he's more aggressive.
Yes, John. With his daughter, who could have a lot of sexual harassment suits against her.
Especially when she's laying on that desk for Clark.
Right. Oh, Clark, come in. And he's like, oh, okay. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Why are you on the desk?
You know, if this was Dark Superman, he would have been took care of that.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah. Come here. Superman.
But yeah, for sure. But yeah, Lana, I mean, not Lana, but this woman doesn't even fit into the realm of everything. But I think that's also the reason why too she doesn't fit in. It's because of the fact that she also feels like an outsider, because Lois is also making her feel like an outsider, and also too, Clark is kind of treating her like a friend versus it being, you know what I'm saying? Because even Lois like, look, if you're trying to get his attention, that's not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna go right over his head.
Yeah.
He's an honest person. He's a loyal person. He's not someone that just goes around banging anybody.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't actually say banging, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And she said, well, all guys like me because I'm rich.
Yeah. That.
Well, I want to talk briefly about this theme in 80s movies where they try to make beautiful women look nerdy and ugly, and they get on these big lens glasses that rest on their cheeks, and then that's supposed to make them look nerdy, and then they still look beautiful. And I'm like,
in this case, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Because the girl is still beautiful.
Yeah.
The woman is still beautiful no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah, she just got these giant lenses.
She has those Sally Jesse Raphael glasses on.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just a little pet peeve.
What do you think about? What I wanted to ask you too was like, what do you think about the whole Soviet Union thing and about Superman decides, hey, I don't want to be part of this. This is not a conflict that's within my realm or anything that I want to do or anything. And then all of a sudden he starts caring once Jeremy writes a letter pointing out the fact of why it is important.
Yeah, that it was interesting, you know. I mean, like, I'm sure Superman was taught, you know, you can't get in the affairs of humans. They have to work it out for themselves. And you see it in all these superhero movies, except the Avengers, they get involved in everybody's business.
That's true. They don't learn.
But it reminds me of the Eternals. If you've seen that, they had this code where they couldn't really get involved in human wars because humans have to figure that out themselves. They're just there to spectate, you know, and that's how Superman is. He's like supposed to be there to spectate, not get involved in human wars, but he can intervene with crimes and, you know, I guess little things like that, or aliens. That is kind of weird, right? It's like he can intervene and
but he's still intervening by saving people.
Zod, yeah, and then like petty crimes, and then like criminals. So if he was just to be a spectator, he should be hands off on everything and just observe people.
Right, but although Zod was also a Kryptonian issue though too. So Zod kind of went up against his jurisdiction, and so therefore Superman had to come in. And
that's true.
So,
and I guess
that's actually a Kryptonian, right?
He had to get involved because he was going to blow up the California line.
Right.
But it is interesting the rules he has. Like, he has his own code jurisdiction. Like, okay, well, when it comes to nuclear wars or politics, I can't get involved. But then I feel
like go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I do agree with Jeremy, though. I mean, you're here on our planet. You're saving us. You're basically a citizen walking among us or flying among us. And you're going to tell us that you are not going to get involved in a planet that you care about. You care about saving Earthlings. Even Zod said it. He goes, "Oh, he cares for these Earthlings people." And now you're not wanting to save us from nuclear testing and all that stuff that that other countries are actually putting on us, or vice versa. So it's like, okay, well, let them destroy each other.
Well, John, to be fair, he wrote a letter, and he was like, surely you can do something, like you were saying. Um, and then, Perry White 2.0 jumped on that and exploited the child. And he wrote in the paper, Superman says, what did he say? Fuck those kids. That's basically what
he said. Okay.
Well, I wrote it down. Drop dead kid. I was like, oh, he didn't say that.
I want to talk about the headline stuff that they use here, right? This is reflecting back on how people view things on social media.
Goodness.
With articles. Mm-hmm. Because that's the first thing that they think of. And the first thing that they would do is try to cancel Superman for something that he didn't even do or say.
Yeah. And explore a situation.
Right. And that's all they care about is the headlines. Yeah, they don't care about the actual story. Even Lois brings it up.
Yeah, he just wrote Superman and was like, we were talking about the arms deal, the nuclear weapons, and I told everybody in class, Superman can come in and do something about that. And then you remember when they put the boy on the podium?
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, what did you tell Superman? Go ahead. He's like, well, I said, surely Superman will save us. And they jumped on that. And they're like, no, that's not sensational. No. Superman says, drop dead the kid.
Drop kids.
Yes. Kid. Oh my gosh, what? And Superman like, what is this garbage? I didn't say this.
So that's whenever it concerns him, whenever it's...
Yeah, when his name get dragged into it, because he never answered a letter. He's like, this makes me look bad. I guess I get involved.
I guess I have to now. I have to clear my name because I don't want anyone to think I'm bad.
Before, he would ride the bench.
Right.
Yeah. He was like,
I like the personal... The thing I like about Clark, though, is the battle of what to do.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's like, well, I need someone to talk to. So him and Lois were about to go out, and he just jumps off the building with Lois, and he has his glasses on, basically trying to tell Lois that he is Superman's again. This is the same repeat stuff that we've seen in the other movies, and he decides, you know what, the best place for me to actually talk to Lois is as Superman and not as Clark. Because Superman's battling this, not Clark Kent. So therefore, I have to ask Lois this question on what to do. But jumping off the building is a little drastic.
John, let me tell you something. I don't know how many times he done brainwashed this woman. I'm feeling sad. Let me talk to Lois. Okay, I'm done with her. I was like, well, was there some permanent brain damage, or what's the side effect of him? Like,
he even said that to him too, that she remembered everything, and then he has to kiss her again to brainwash her again.
Man, okay, maybe that is a side effect. Like, the more he does it, the more it doesn't have a strong effect. Like, wears off over time.
I guess so. I guess there's like a 24-hour period. I don't know.
That ain't right. He's like gaslighting this woman. And I'm like, well, just tell you Superman and leave it at that. But I guess he didn't want her to be in danger. Like, if Luthor knows that she knows who Superman is, he could, put her in danger and all that other stuff. But if you keep kissing this woman and brainwashing her, then you might as well just stay Superman.
Exactly. There's not any point to keep doing this to Lois at this point.
I don't know. When I was watching, I was like, how many times did he do this? Is this like the 50th time? Oh, I need to talk to
See?
Lois. Lois is the only one I can talk to.
Okay, we talked. Time to brainwash her. I got what
Well,
I wanted.
okay.
But
Self.
yeah. But yeah, this is also too. The Daily Planet is bought by David Warfield, a media Mongol who made his fortune through supermarket tabloids.
Mm-hmm.
Warfield fires Perry White and replaces him as editor with Lacey. David's blonde and beautiful daughter, although good-hearted compared to her father, Lacey hits on Clark, who, being Clark, politely takes her in stride. Ironically, Lacey seems to be to Lois Lane, territorial to Lois Lane. That's what I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
say.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Lois has had no interest in Clark, but was in love with Superman, Lacey is not impressed with Superman, instead being attracted to Clark as a decent guy. David openly believes that the media irresponsibility is hardly an issue, that the bottom line is seals. He takes advantage of Superman's refusal to heed Jeremy's letter by ignoring the deeper issues. And like you said, David simply makes it out to be selfless on Superman's part, as evidenced by his headline, Superman to Schoolboy, drop dead. This results in public outrage, and people want to cancel Superman. I mean, outrage to the point where Superman cannot ignore it. He flies to the United Nations, then he meets Jeremy and commends him for making a difference inside the United Nations. Superman tells the assembly that he plans to get rid of the Earth of all nuclear weapons, which is received by standing ovations. Over the next several days, Superman takes every nuclear weapon he can find and gathers them into a gigantic net in orbit above the planet. He then closes the net and tosses it into the sun. So, what do you think of this montage of him taking these rockets that are being sent up and putting it into space and having a net?
Okay, one part of me says that is pretty cool. The other part of me is like, what the fuck is going on? And then the other part of my rational mind is like, so what is the damage to the sun for us on Earth? Like all these nuclear weapons. I mean, the sun can take all that radiation or nuclear?
Apparently so. I mean, I would think that would actually cause the sun to probably give us higher temperatures and
Yeah, something.
right. There's no cause and effect with it. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. But
You're not. What?
no, I'm just a guy who just runs his mouth and does a podcast.
You know, Superman 3, they put a lot more thought into the science. And here they're like, man, just put these nuclear weapons in the sun.
Right, because even when remember when that one scientist was explaining the chemicals, and if anything happened, it gets to a certain boiling point, everything explodes.
Yeah.
But this one is like, okay, let's just see Superman put rockets into a giant rocket and giant net, and that's it. But no explanation of cause and effect or anything. So I understand it's an 80s movie. I understand that we have to suspend disbelief.
Yeah.
But as adults watching this, not as a 10-year-old, not 6-year-old me, who's like, that's pretty cool. Superman just threw a bunch of rockets into the sun. I'm questioning, like, what happens with the sun? What happens whenever that happens?
Yeah.
So I can't help as a 40-year-old me who's questioning certain things.
Yes, exactly. Now I need to look up or ask Chat GPT what would happen if you put nuclear weapons in the sun.
But and then also too, how many rockets can fit into that net to the point where it's like, you know what, we're good. I caught a bunch of rockets. I'm good to go. I'm just gonna put this into the sun.
That is rocket quota. And 15. All right.
Could you just imagine if like the president calls him up, hey Superman, look, we need you to take care of these several rockets today. What was my quota? 20 rockets. You know what? You say 20, I'm going to go 40. I can do 40 today. Okay, not a problem. So he puts in 40 rockets on his quota. And that's it. He's done for the day.
Yeah. And does he have another net for the other 20? Was
No,
that?
just that one net.
Oh
So
wow! Oh no!
I can see the government going, well, did you explain to Superman that that's the only net that he gets? No. Well, shit.
Ah, crap. He's like, and I'm done for
And
today.
time to go eat lunch with Lois.
Yay! I'm like, okay. What if he left and then a rocket came right after?
You know what I
He
was thinking
missed it.
too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Or I was thinking, what happens if a spaceship comes into where the rockets are, and it gets caught into the net, and Superman is responsible
Oh
for the spacecraft.
no! And then I was thinking, okay, why couldn't he let him go off in space? But then I guess it would have failed to Earth, like the debris and
Right, the debris and everything from
yeah,
it. Next thing you know, you have a nuclear explosions going on, coming into orbit with Earth.
yeah, true. So I guess it wasn't. I'm trying to think of another way he could have put these rockets besides the sun, and I can't think of anything.
No, and even if you just put him out, also too, I understand his logic. Even if you just put him out there floating, sooner or later, it's going to come down just like satellites.
Yeah, true.
So, and then you have all these rockets that's just going to blow up the world.
That's true.
So
That's gonna be like my Roman Empire. Where else could he have put these nuclear weapons?
I don't know. I don't think there's any hope. I have no idea.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor's nephew, Lenny, the Dutch elm disease of the family tree, affects his escape from a prison road gang. The pair steal a brand of hair that Superman had donated to a museum. Luthor creates a genetic matrix from the strand of hair and attaches it to a nuclear missile, which Superman then tosses into the sun. As the missile explodes on the sun's surface, a ball of energy is discharged from the sun. The energy ball rapidly develops into a nuclear man who finds his way to his father, Lex Luthor. Lex establishes that despite possessing powers which reveals Superman's the man of molten steel, will deactivate if isolated from the sun's rays or from suitably bright artificial light. So pretty much you can only stay out at 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock, and then he's grounded at 7 p.m.
Boo, weak.
Because I was just thinking this, right? I swear, I was thinking this while I was watching. I'm like, so he can rule the whole entire morning through. He can work the mornings, and he can also work the evening shift till 5.
Yeah.
And then,
wow,
and
daylight
then after that,
savings.
he's no good.
Yeah.
After that,
Yeah, daylight savings time. I mean,
that would be bad for.
he couldn't think of like a way to extend his power. But then he said, "Well, nobody's perfect."
Right. But what do you think the whole escape thing with Lenny inside the car?
That was weird. First, I want to know, like, when the scene opens and they're in the chain gang and Lex is, being Lex, and they have these cops running in the scene, like somebody yell action. They're like, Lex, what are you doing? What are you singing for, Lex? And I'm like, why are they running like that? They're just like, calm down, bro. Why they couldn't just walk and be like, Lex, what are you doing? They're like, Lex, what are you doing? What are you singing now, Lex? I'm like, oh my God. It's like, calm
You're
down.
like Mozart, huh, Lex?
Wow, calm down, guys. Decaf. Just chill. But
It's
yeah,
the 80s.
okay. His nephew. Yeah, when you told me it was a guy from 2.5 Men, and I think Ducky from Pretty in Pink.
Yep.
Is it John Cryer?
Yep, John Cryer.
Yeah. And I was like, why is he trying to force a California accent? He's like, dudes, where am I? Where am I? It's like he was in and out of it. I was like, no, just be yourself. He's like, bro, where am I? Oh, I'm lost.
Hey, I think I got turned around. What's
Yeah,
going on, guys?
it
What's
wasn't
up?
as obnoxious then when he first did it. Well, later on, it's like he had to crank it up times 10.
It's
Bro,
like,
whoa, totally. I'm like,
could you
what?
imagine the directors doing this to the John Cryer though as Lenny? He's like, they're not believing you, Lenny. You have to go full throttle with your California accent.
I need more
Okay,
Keanu
dude.
Reeves. Say whoa, say whoa.
Whoa.
Ah, more.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it. Be dumber.
Be dumber. But the remote control car bit was a little too much. At first, I'm
Yeah.
like, how are they? I forgot all about the remote control car. I thought to myself, how are they going to go ahead and escape in this thing when says Lenny on the side of the car and it stands out like a sore thumb? But Lex already had put this together because you remember they're reciting everything that the car is doing
Yeah.
and then they drive it off the cliff.
Yeah, and then it explodes. And I'm thinking they just committed murder. But then the cops show back up and I'm like, what kind of Looney Tunes mess is this? I mean, it drove off the cliff and then it exploded. And then the cops are just like, oh, Lex, you're back again, toward the end of the movie. And I didn't even think about it till now.
Yeah, they climb
And
out of the hole. And so basically that's attempted murder if you think about it.
those dudes should be dead, right?
Right. They should be dead. They ran off a cliff.
Yeah. It's fine. It's the 80s.
It's the 80s
Yeah.
with a little bit of Looney Tune action.
Yeah.
But what did you think of this though? Like with them creating
Nuclear Man.
Nuclear Man. What did you think about Lenny and Lex teaming up to
Thought that was strange that the son gave birth to a fetus that turned into a man with acrylic nails.
and then also
and blonde
too,
hair.
like then he goes, we're gonna be fathers. I'm like, that is kind of incessory. Like Game of Thrones kind of
it kind of is. I mean, they did drop a little bit of science, but I don't know if it made sense. Like they used Superman's hair, and I think he did something because it was like some tissue.
Yeah, remember they go to the museum and they get his hair because it's actually holding up the world like a model of the world.
Yes.
And Lex has to go on ahead and get the clippers to go to get the hair sample to make the to make.
That's the other thing, John. Like in movies, usually they have a glass cutter. They try to do it as discreetly as possible. He's like, smash, bang. I'm like,
yeah.
He doesn't care at all. I'm like, what?
It's ridiculous. Totally nonsense. Something that Lex wouldn't even do. He would actually be trying to be discreet about it. He wouldn't try to alert everybody in the building that, that they're trying to get this hair sample.
What happened to Lex?
Well, he's been in prison all this time. He's been incarcerated all this time.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
We left him in prison with part 2, and
but yeah, that
grew
whole
his hair back.
That whole creation of Nuclear Man was very strange.
Yeah, because
like pop, like
it goes in from being like a fetus, then from a fetus to a baby, then from a baby to. He went through all the stuff that we went through in the first Superman movie within like 3 minutes.
Yes, he. Who he reminded me of? Is it Sentry? Yeah, from Thunderbolt.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the vibe he gives off. I don't know why they gave him long nails.
I have no idea.
Acrylic nails, and then because I get my nails done, and I was like, who does his nails? Like, And then they had to do a close up on it. I guess like long nails mean like villains or something, but
Well, it's also Freddy Krueger like nails though that he has.
no, no, don't disrespect Freddy like that. Freddy Krueger did not have any acrylic nails.
All I can think of is like that. What's that movie? That TV show is like, let me see your nails.
What?
You know what? Is that TV? You know the what's that?
What are you talking?
It's not SNL. It's that Living Color
Oh my god!
with the
See your
Asian woman is like,
nails.
let me see your nails. It's very pretty. That but
Oh, Mad TV.
Mad TV. Thank you, Mad
Yeah,
TV.
I don't know why they gave him that man them nails.
I don't know either.
And
It's
then
not
they
even
had the
intimidating on him. He's more muscular and bigger than
yeah,
Superman to the point where you don't need to have that.
or at least if you were gonna do it, they should have been just like not polished because they put silver polish on the acrylic
Well,
nails. It
but
should have been
really, you
like
don't really need to have the long fingernails. You
no, he
can just
doesn't.
he's radiated already, so all you have to do is just your hands can be radioactive.
Yeah, but I guess they just wanted it to be like, look, his nails grow long and he can claw people. It was
But what do you
strange.
also think of Clark and Lacey going to the gym though?
It was so strange. But I know I always sing praises of Christopher Reeve. But yeah, his comedic timing is very, very good in this scene. I mean, just the nuances he gives, like being offbeat when they count 1 and 2, and he's like 2 and 1 and 3 and 4, and then he's like, oh my back, knowing that he could run laps around those people. Like I
He
said,
could.
it takes some kind of uh special talent, nuance, whatever, to just suppress all these powerful, all this power that you
The
have.
super strength and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to constantly suppress it just to fit in, and that is the sad part of Superman. If you think about it,
Right.
he can't really be himself.
He has to pretend to be somebody else to fit in. And even with the weight trainer and stuff like that, he winds up throwing the weight at the weight trainer as well. He also goes on that lift thing
Yeah,
that lifts him up. But I like how he throws the weight at the at the
yeah,
weightlifter
yeah, the douchebag boyfriend.
trainer. Yeah,
Yeah,
the ball bag. Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
But yeah,
somebody can't handle their weights.
and he just throws it at him and goes, no pain, no gain.
Yeah. I'm like, this is Superman. He can like smash your head like a watermelon.
But I like the fact that Lacey doesn't like these kind of guys, and she kind of stands up for Clark.
Yes. Yes. And also I'm seeing how human Clark can be. He can be very petty. Like just like Superman 2, he didn't have to go all the way back to the diner and kick that guy's ass for embarrassing him in front of his woman. And this one, he's like, I'm gonna throw some weights on this guy so he can fall on the ground. No pain, no gain. I was like, what? They taught you
Well, I
better.
remember what happened in part 2. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to let this guy live rent free in my head, and I have to come back all the way over here again. I might as well just do it right here, right now.
He just takes care of it right there. He's like, no, I don't want this to be like last time, because in Superman 2, I had to go all the way back to that diner and take care of business.
Right?
Oh my god!
So now we have a worldwide battle soon follows between Lex's creation and the Man of Steel, while Superman is in the process of saving the Statue of Liberty from destruction. Nuclear Man's inflicts a radioactive wound on him. The Daily Planet to Lois Digest blares a new headline that Superman is dead. Even Lacey is appalled by her dad and has gone over her head. And also, too, the radiation sickness, Clark barely makes it to the terrace of the apartment. There, he retrieves the Kryptonian crystal, which he took from the barn in Smallville at the film's beginning, and heals himself. So, what I like about this is the fact that you have that one scene where he's trying to appease both women. He's trying to appease Lois and also Lacey too, and he's trying to do that interview. He's also trying to go on ahead and go out with Lacey, and it just does not work. And then you have Lex that comes in the middle of all this, and tells him that, hey, there's going to be a bomb that's up in the building that he needs to go to because he's about to blow it up. And he flies over there, and come to find out, it's Nuclear Man.
Yeah, that's the
and then I like how, at first, all Nuclear Man wants to do is kill Superman as well. And Lex is like, what time? You're going to kill him. Trust me, it's not the time yet.
I feel like Thunderbolts. I know that, whoever wrote Thunderbolts comic, maybe they were looking at Superman 4 and they said, we can create a character like that. Because in Thunderbolts, you can put oh my gosh, I forgot her name. Jeez. Well, anyway, Valerie in Lex Luthor's position, and she's talking to Sentry, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna be great. You're gonna smash the Avenger. You're gonna do this, that." And then he's like, "Oh, spoiler alert." He's like, "Oh, but I have the power of a god. What I need with you." And
exactly.
Then cut to Superman 4, where he's like, "Oh, why do I need you when I have all this power?" And he's talking to Lex like that. And Lex is like, "Oh man, tell Lex didn't have a kill switch. He just walked in the shadow and said, pew, powered down." I was like, oh my God. The shadow.
And when he's like, oh, he's cold.
Shadows are his enemies. Just close the curtains. That's how you defeat him.
Exactly.
Power down.
All you need is solar panels and you're good.
If it's a cloudy day, he's screwed.
Yeah.
Don't
go like how Wayne goes over there. He feels Nuclear Man. He goes, he's cold. He goes, well, he's cold and useless, like you at night.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I'll just say that about his nephew. But yeah, Superman did not learn his lesson from Superman 3 when he tried to please Lois and Lana. You can't please two women at one time. And unless you morph yourself, and there's two of you that
that's the only way.
And one can be Superman. He's trying to like go on a date and then do his interview at Lois / date. And she tells her, "Oh yeah, I made you duck, lobster, and filet mignon." And I was like, "Dang girl, what the?"
He went all out on for Superman, and then he goes on ahead, does his heat ray thing on the duck.
Yeah.
And burns the duck, so he can go back over to where Lacey is.
Rude. Just rude.
And then she goes, yeah, Clark is probably downstairs, probably trying to help some nice guy change the tire. So what does he do? He burns the duck, he flies back downstairs, and lo and behold, he's coming back into the building, running up to Lacey. And she goes, come on, Clark, let's go out and everything and get wild. He goes, no, we should be really upstairs. That's where we should be. And she goes, okay, since you want to go up there. And so they go, she's getting ready to go in the elevator. Clark winds up getting dragged off by the bellboy because he's on the bellboy's luggage thing. And he gets dragged away and he goes back up to where Lois is just as she's about to give him the duck. And come to find, and then he just, I'm over here, Lois.
Like a freaking sitcom. I'll be right back. I'm like, man.
It's Looney Tunes. It's literally Looney Tunes.
Exactly. Straight up Looney Tunes mess, man. And then When Lacey want to get dressed up for Clark, which she don't really care about Clark. She just sees him as a challenge. Lois is like, well, he's not going to be interested in your dress. And then, Clark is Clark. He's like, oh, yeah, you look nice. Neat dress.
Neat dress.
He's like, neat dress. And then Lois is telling Clark, well, you got to say something nice about her dress because she's into you. Changing to Superman, he's like, lovely dress. Yeah. And then Lois is like, okay, that's enough. It's supposed to be my man.
Right.
Oh, calm down, Lois.
But then you have, after that happens, finally, he's like, okay, I got to be Clark now. Superman's gone to save somebody. That's all he had to do. He said, look, I just talked to Superman. Superman said that he has to go. I'm sorry, but he had to cut the interview short. And that was it. That's all he had to do. But no, he goes on ahead and does this for 10 to 15 minutes with these women. And then he's inside the kitchen and Lex comes on and tells him that there's a bomb inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And that's another thing he got to deal with. He's like, oh, God, it's my third thing. Now I got to save the world. Like, oh, God. Hey,
like,
Lois, sorry, Lois.
I'm a superhero.
Bye. Yeah, got to go. Bye. And nobody asks, where's Clark?
Well, remember Lacey does. She goes, where's Clark at? And Lois goes, huh? Like she forgot all about Clark. Not worried about him. He's okay.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
But then you get into this thing where Nuclear Man and him are fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You get up in space. They're fighting in space. He starts putting him in the moon.
That was awesome.
That was pretty cool to see Superman get put in the moon.
Yeah.
And then you have Superman trying to straighten out the United States flag in the moon.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait.
I hammered him down in the moon. I was like, that's awesome. And then he flies away and he gets out the moon. He's like, oh, wait, gotta straighten up the American flag. USA. I'm like, come on, man. That flag could have stayed where it was at.
And then he goes back over to Lex's place and puts him in an elevator.
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna work when he did that. The concept was nice, but I was like, well, what if some sun can peek in? Oh, as soon as I said that, sun peeked in through the cracks. And I thought he would have balled it up, crushed the metal.
No, he just puts it in space like, okay, my job is done, just like a rocket,
My job is done.
Hi, Nuclear Man. Have fun in the elevator.
Like, what? Oh, my gosh. Come on, Superman. You're smarter than that.
And then after that, he comes out of the elevator. Then he picks up the Statue of Liberty. Well, hold on. You also have the other scene, too, that happens. He destroys the Great Wall of China. Nuclear Man does. Superman rebuilds it. We don't know how he rebuilds it. He just does it. A volcano happens. He pretty much puts like a cover over the volcano using another rock or something.
Pompeii 2.0. I was like, oh no, these poor people. They're like, Pompeii.
Well, they're Italians.
Yeah, and he knows Italian, which I expect him to know.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that, it goes into the Statue of Liberty where you have Radioactive Man. He winds up taking the Statue of Liberty off.
Radioactive Man. That's a cooler name than Nuclear Man. I'll tell you that.
Right. Nuclear Man sounds stupid, but he takes the Statue of Liberty off of it, starts chasing Clark. Superman winds up turning back around. And then he winds up having enough time to put the Statue of Liberty back up before his cape falls off, and Nuclear Man actually scratches him on the back of the neck with his nails. Like
a woman.
And then all of a sudden he's sick with a virus.
Yeah, that was...
Because he got...
That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and then they don't explain that what happened. You know, they don't give us science because they're like, I don't got time for science.
No, we just got to get this movie done. It's only an hour. This is actually the shortest Superman movie for Christopher Reeve. Everything else has been like 2 hours.
I can tell because the scenes aren't smooth. They don't
No,
have a
they're very
smooth
choppy.
transition. Yeah, yeah, it's very choppy.
But, my guess was this. I think because of the fact of him being nuclear and with the temperature in Superman's body is not the same as what Nuclear Man is. So it's going to have like a basically dehydrated him, I guess.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, because he has toxic chemicals or whatever he has in him. Huh.
But
Interesting. It was just interesting that he got him that sick where he's like, oh, I just got the flu. And ugh, I don't know. It's just weird.
then we have Lacey's father, Perry White 2.0, that wants to fire Clark because he's never in the office and doesn't have a phone. And Lois finds out that they put that headline on there. And, and Lacey doesn't like the idea that this happened. And he also makes her the editor as well. So it's nepotism because she's a family member.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was like Superman is dead. And yeah, he Lois goes to visit Clark. And he, like he said, oh, I just got the flu. I was like, damn, he messed you up bad with a scratch. It's like, ugh. But anyway, yeah, and then she has Superman's cape, which I don't know who got Superman's cape from the Statue of Liberty. What did it?
Well, it was actually Lacey's father. Lacey's father bought it off of somebody for cheap. Remember?
Yeah, who got it? Oh, oh okay, never mind.
That's what I want to know. I mean, I was just wondering, maybe it was one of those people that sells things on the streets, like in New York City.
And they went all the way up to the Statue of Liberty and got the cake.
That was someone that was desperate for $300, $500. You know what I'm saying?
Climb the Statue of Liberty, get this cake. I get some good money.
Or maybe it was a maintenance worker that happened to take it off the Statue of Liberty and wanted to sell it.
Okay. They don't pay me enough. I can get a lot for this cape.
Here comes Perry White 2.0. Is that Superman's cape? Yeah. How much you got? How much you want for it?
How much you want?
I'll give you $500.
Nah.
Sold.
I need like 1.2 million.
But don't forget, this is also the 80s, so
1.2 million.
1.2 million. But yeah, it doesn't make sense. And then they have it wrapped up in this little packaging paper bag thing.
Yeah.
Lois winds up bringing him over to Clark, and she realizes that Clark is sick, and she winds up helping him regain his momentum to be Superman again. So he drinks the serum that turns him back into being Superman again, having his super strength.
Yeah. Also, the effects of that scratch made him weaker and sicker. Like he was getting old, like gray hair, skin was ringed. I was like, what did he do to him? Gee.
It's like it's making him age like Benjamin Button.
One scratch on the neck. I was like, this is where I needed the science explanation in this movie.
Because I didn't understand that. I did not understand the concept of that at all. Because it didn't make sense. It's like, well, I guess he'll die at an old age instead of him being Superman.
Yeah.
He ages him. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's like near death. When he climbed up, I was like, oh my God, who is that? Who is that old man? Oh God, that's Superman. It's like, jeez.
It didn't even look like him. And as a matter of fact, I forgot that even happened in the movie where it like ages him.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is going on here? It looks like a sci-fi movie now.
Oh my God. Ugh. Like he gave him a virus or something. Gross. But yeah.
Basically, it is a virus, but it's a very bad virus.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Jeez. Ugh.
But now we have Nuclear Man develops a crush on Lacey because he discovered puberty and threatens mayhem if he is not introduced to her. Superman agrees to take What's that?
No, go ahead.
Agrees to take Nuclear Man to Lacey. In order to disable his clone, the Man of Steel lures Nuclear Man into an elevator, like we said. Then he deposits him into an elevator on the moon without noticing that the Man of Steel has cracked open the doors. As the sun rises, Nuclear Man breaks out of his makeshift prison. He and Superman resume their battle on the moon surface. The Man of Steel is driven into the ground by the nuclear charged opponent. Nuclear Man returns to Earth, abducting Lacey and flying her into outer space, where she, strangely enough, is unaffected by the lack of breathable atmosphere and her pressure. Meanwhile, the Man of Steel pushes the moon out of its normal orbit, closing the Earth into a solar eclipse, which renders Nuclear Man's powers useless. Superman reaches Lacey from the Man of Molten Steel, whom he finally defeats by shutting him into a core nuclear power plant that looks like a toilet.
My gosh, I can't. The fights were clunky anyway, but I gave it a pass because I was like, well, this is the 80s.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't explain that, or I didn't get why he looked at her and was like, oh, okay, I think I kidnapped this woman today.
Okay, this is what I'm getting at, okay?
Okay.
Even though he looks like and sounds like Lex and he is a grown-ass man, this could actually be a 17-year-old boy. And that's just trapped in this old person's body.
Yeah, well,
so things like this is like, oh, newspaper. Oh, how you doing? I think I have a crush on you. Okay, where's the lotion at?
No.
No.
His dad wasn't around to teach him all the birds and the bees.
Well, that's because Lex only has one motive: kill Superman and gain control of everything.
I'm not here to teach you anything. Kill Superman. That's why I created you. God, that's terrible. Oh my goodness. But yeah,
but Lacey for me is not even redeemable for me to even want to save.
Yeah, she was a non-factor.
Like I want to care about her, but they don't give us enough to care about her.
Yeah, well, first they didn't set it up good enough, the explanation for him to just all of a sudden want to go kidnap this woman.
Right.
And then destroy half of New York, and then Superman's like, okay, stop. Jeez, I'll take you to her. I'm like, what is, I don't understand. Like, does she have anyway, plot hole in that. And then, like you said, he's flying her into space and she's breathing fine. And I'm like, what did she develop some super lungs I don't know about? Like, why is she flying in space, breathing fine? And then, but he was smart on Superman's part to create a solar eclipse because, of course, he powered down. He's like, weak. Like, dang.
I just have to crack up at how still Nuclear Man is, and here's Lacey almost falling off of him, and she's like almost holding onto like one finger of Nuclear Man before
power
she falls.
Down. Like, dang, a worthless villain. Yeah. But yeah, it was pretty cool. We dropped him in that vat, and then he, I guess, enough energy, he powered all of New York 10 times over, or the country, because all the lights shot up, and it's like, dang.
I hate to be, you know what? I would be pissed off if that's my electric bill.
That is true, though.
Like, Superman now is the responsibility for the power bill going up.
Yeah, well, he can get money from somewhere and just pay everybody's bill.
He can go ahead, bang Lacey, and, go see,
yeah,
because they have money.
Oh, you can get super money. Right. They have a super bank, super money. Does he have a credit card? You remember when they had Superman do the Discover credit card commercials in the 90s?
Yeah, I was trying to forget about that, along with the George Clooney Batman credit card.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, since he has his credit card, he could pay for everybody's light bill. Put it on my card.
But yeah, I just thought, okay, you're putting him into this toilet bowl, it looks like, and putting him into this missile. Because as a kid watching it, I thought it was a toilet. It looked like a toilet to me.
Oh,
and he's just putting him in, and then you're putting him into a missile to basically boost up electricity and power energy. Just doesn't
So
make.
if he stays in there, he's dead, right? Like
I think he's already dead. He's just being used as energy.
his corpse is used to power the city. That is, it just took a turn. It took a dark turn. Your corpse will power our city.
Oh hell, almighty nuclear. But yeah,
Thank you, Nuclear Man. Thank you for your sacrifice. Oh my god, it's like a horror movie now.
it is if you think about it. But
Ugh.
yeah, later in the press conference, Superman declares one partial victory in his peace campaign. He states the world peace, not mine to give. There will be peace when the people of the world want it so badly that their government will not have no choice but to let them have it. With the aid of some now wealthy college roommates, Perry White buys the Daily Planet back from the warfields. After cheerfully relinquishing the editor's mantle, Lacey purchases the old Kent farm from Clark as a summer retreat. Why? Just as the Luthers are negotiating the freeway of Metropolis, Superman intercepts them. The Man of Steel drops Lenny off at a Catholic boarding school where he will have positive role models. Superman then returns Lex to the labor camp from which Lenny sprang him from. He assures Lex that the world is back on the brink where it belongs, and God willing, it'll stay there. And then the movie ends once again with Superman flying into the mesosphere while the sun sets.
Probably intersected more missiles, even though he said he wasn't.
Right.
Oh,
I still want to know if there's another net. I still
Yeah.
want to know if there's another net there.
He is. He ain't gonna stop. Oh, the
No.
government, when the government wants to help their people, I was like, you lying. You know the government ain't helping them. You're
No,
gonna
they ain't helping shit.
still ain't. And you gonna go up in space and just be winding down missiles. That's all.
Exactly. But it makes me laugh though now to talk about this though with Lacey. He sells Lacey the farm to. I think that he was like, okay, well, I don't want it to go to someone that is going to destroy the farm
Yeah.
to make parking lots, but I want to sell it to Lacey, and that don't even make sense to me unless you're going to do like a bed and breakfast.
Yeah. And what if she changes her mind and be like, oh no, I don't want to be poor.
I would not trust Lacey if my life depended on it because of Perry White 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, I would have sold it to Lois when that made sense.
Yeah, but don't forget that would be Superman selling it to Lois. Clark wouldn't sell it. Would sell it to Lacey.
Yeah. Or at least he could have sold it to a family, like whose farm. I don't know. It could have
I don't
been.
know.
It
It's
could
just
have been
weird for me
anybody
to.
but Lacey.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand that part.
No.
And then you have Perry White who winds up getting the company back, which I'm happy about. So therefore, now we can have real news and people can care about journalism again. Because the way that he was running it was running how Facebook is being run with the headlines.
Yeah, it wasn't any better, but it was, good, better than the smut, or he calls it the bimbo paper.
The bimbo paper. I like that. I like that title.
Yeah, the way they wrapped everything up quickly, it was like, hey, I got the company back. You're out. Yay. Oh my God. Da, 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 da. Next scene. I was like, whoa, what? I didn't have time to digest that he got the company back. It was like, come on. Next scene. I was like, oh my God. What?
This.
Wow, they rushed that. It was like people like, I don't give a fuck about this movie. I'm tired and I want it wrapped up. That's pretty much
right. It's like nobody wanted to be even on set or anything. It's like, look, I got lunch in an hour with another executive. I'm going to be filming something else. Chris, we need you to wrap this up. Let's go ahead, fly you over the earth, and we'll be good to go. Let's play the John Williams theme. Okay, good. Okay, Perry White 2.0. Yeah, okay. The Daily Planet is now going to be bought back from Perry White. Act emotional. Okay, we're good there. Lacey's going to get the farm. The end.
Yeah. But why did he go up the escalator to tell him that news? Wasn't that
To
odd?
make it more atmospheric, to make it feel more cinematic.
I mean, he could have told him that on the ground. He was like, hey, guess what? I got the paperback. I was like, what?
Unless he thought the guy was going to strangle him or something. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go up here.
Oh my God. It's like, oh, okay.
Unless he's trying to show like male dominance, like I bought my company back from you and I'm standing over you.
Okay. I guess I can see that. But still, that's
not
going to
make the scene make sense.
That's not what normal people do. They don't just go up and
nothing about this, Tamika, nothing about this movie is normal. This is Looney Tunes with this movie.
I could tell. And then, dropping Lenny off at the boys' school. He's like, whoa, cool. You guys got any drums? I'm like, what is in the world?
He's over there aggravating the hell out of Lex. He goes, I'm glad I brought my drums with me. Whoa, dude.
It's like the accent got worse and worse throughout the whole movie. It started off normal, and then it just got worse.
Even when Nuclear Man spends him around in Lex's house. Yeah. He's like, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Got sick, bro. It's like, what? Like,
yeah. Oh. And then Lex gets brought back, and he goes, hey, Mozart's back. Mozart's back.
Yeah, they didn't run this time. They were cool. The way they're supposed to be.
Right. But yeah, with this one, I want you to go ahead and give your rating for this one.
6.5. I was entertained. Yeah.
Okay. Glad you were entertained. 10-year-old me was happy as a clam, as a kid watching this. As a grown-ass adult, I was not so happy. I felt sorry for the woman who gave this to me as a kid. I felt bad for my mom for making her waste her money renting this movie over and over again. I'm gonna go with a 4.5 out of 10 with this one.
Yeah,
like I was trying so hard to find some redeemable moments with this, or some aspects I've liked, but there's nothing really to like.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell Reeves and the whole crew was just wanted it to end.
Right. They wanted to get a root canal done just as much as I did watching this.
Jeez. Not a root canal. So Gene Hackman didn't even help.
He helped a little bit. He was there.
Yeah.
It was like he was only a side plot. This is like a B plot role. Instead, it should have been, forget about the nuclear stuff and stuff like that. I get the fact that was a big thing, part of the world in the 80s. I get it. But at the same time, it would have been more interesting for Lex to be the one who's controlling the narrative of why all these rockets are going up. And then make Nuclear Man out of something. Because Superman just keeps on stopping the rockets over and over again. And he's the one who is trying to cause this war.
I can see that. Unless they wanted, they don't have Dark Superman. What is his name? You know what I'm talking about in the comics?
Oh, Bizarro?
Yeah, unless they wanted something similar to Bizarro, some antagonist. But that could have been...
That's not even on the same level.
That could have been Superman 5.
That was more like Great Value.
Great Value Century.
But still, I wish that I could say I enjoyed this. I wanted to, but I just can't rank it as high as I did.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. It's just I was entertained because
it's a movie.
But John, hey, when I was a kid, I thought the Super Mario Brothers movie was amazing.
I did too.
And then I saw it. I was like, "What is this crap?"
This is why my mom would always ask me whenever we walk out of the movie theater of every single movie that I enjoyed as a kid. She would
Yeah.
always come look at me. She goes, "So, did you enjoy it?" "Yeah, I had a great time." "What about you?" She goes, "Yeah, it was. I had a good time."
Mm-mm.
Like, no, you didn't.
I mean, my mom took me to see Batman Returns with my friends, and she fell asleep. And I was like, "Mom,"
My mom didn't. She she watched the whole entire thing, but
I
still.
was like, "Wake up, woman! It's Batman."
But yeah, guys, tell us what your non-nostalgic review for this is if you're watching, or if you're gonna catch this later on the audio podcast as well. What's your nostalgic review for this out of 10? What is your non-nostalgic after stripping it away? I like to actually know. Um, I will. We're gonna be doing our Last of Us review for the season finale on Wednesday with Rossie and I. This week I'm gonna be taking a little bit of time off to edit some shorts and put that together. Because I'm also doing Rossie's podcast as well for Rossie's Clubhouse. So go on ahead and check out her podcast over there. And I do have Stu and Smith coming back for It Doesn't Hold Up podcast.
Hmm.
And we're going to be reviewing I Know What You Did Last Summer on June 29th on a Sunday. So want to go on ahead and talk about that as a nostalgic and non-nostalgic review? Go on ahead and join us for that.
The one from the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We're reviewing that. And then I have Doom Generation podcast coming back again. And we're going to be reviewing the 1993 film Airborne. So there's that. So always until next time, guys, have a great and safe night. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you again, Tamika, for joining me for this. And of course, this is actually these episodes for Superman is dedicated to my good friend Ben. Like I said, if you don't know who Ben is, go check out the Seinfeld episode that we did for the Soup Kitchen Nazi episode review that we did for that one. So you can get to know who Ben is. And always until next time, guys, have a great safe night and bye-bye.